The time I tried to fix a window and almost took out my neighbor. Okay, so first of all, I am not a handy person. I don't know why I thought I could fix a window. But let's just say confidence and competence are not the same thing. It all started when I noticed a draft in my bedroom. Upon closer inspection, I realized one of the window panes was loose. Now, a normal person would call a professional, but not me. No, I thought, how hard could it be? I Googled how to fix a loose window pane, watched approximately half of one YouTube tutorial, and decided I was ready. My toolkit consisted of duct tape, a butter knife, and an overinflated sense of self. Step one was removing the glass. Easy, right? Wrong. I started prying at it with the butter knife, and just as I thought, wow, I'm doing great, the entire pane popped out and slipped from my fingers. Now let me set the scene. I live on the second floor of a duplex. Below me, my elderly neighbor, Mr. Thompson, was peacefully watering his plants. The man loves those plants more than life itself. He talks to them, sings to them. I've seen him apologize to them when he accidentally bumps a leaf. So, of course, my rogue window pane launches itself directly toward him. I screamed. He screamed. The window pane exploded on the ground like I had personally declared war on his begonias. I ran downstairs, horrified, expecting him to start yelling. But instead, he just looked at me, looked at his plants, sighed deeply, and said, well, guess it was their time. I apologized 47 times, offered to buy him new plants, and even said I'd bake him cookies, which was a bold promise considering I once burned Jell-O. He just waved me off and mumbled something about natural selection for houseplants. Anyway, I now have a professionally installed new window. Mr. Thompson has a brand new fern, which I bought out of guilt, and I am banned from attempting home repairs. Honestly, it's for the best. Lesson learned. If you think you can fix something in your house, you probably can't. Call a professional before you take out an innocent bystander.
My grandma almost died during Thanksgiving. Okay, so let me just start this off by saying my family is insane. I know everyone says that about their family, but no, I win. This is the story of how one Thanksgiving dinner almost killed my grandma, ended a relationship, and involved an unholy amount of mashed potatoes. So every year my mom insists on hosting Thanksgiving, despite the fact that one, she can't cook, and two, our house is barely big enough to fit our family without turning into a game of human Jenga. But she refuses to give up the tradition, so every year we gather in our tiny dining room sweating, praying the turkey isn't still frozen in the middle, and trying not to start World War III. This year was special though. My older cousin Rachel brought her new boyfriend, Derek. This man showed up in a turtleneck Strike 1. With a fancy bottle of wine, he wouldn't stop talking about Strike 2, and immediately started explaining to my uncle, who has been cooking meat longer than Derek has been alive, how to properly season a turkey. Strike 3, buddy, you're out. Anyway, my grandma is a sweet, tiny woman who has been selectively hard of hearing for years. If you tell her something nice, she will hear nothing. If you mutter, I hate this green bean casserole under your breath from across the house, she will materialize out of thin air and scold you. She also loves mashed potatoes. Like, she could eat her weight in them. So when it was time for dinner, my uncle, who had taken an instant dislike to Derek, handed him the honor of bringing out the giant serving bowl of mashed potatoes. The thing was huge. Like, if you squinted, it could be mistaken for a third grader. Derek, wanting to impress everyone but mostly Rachel, decided to make a show of it. Instead of just walking like a normal person, he tried to do this sort of smooth, waiter-like carry with one hand. Well, he tripped, and I kid you not, time slowed down. The bowl launched from his hands like a trebuchet. It did a full somersault in the air, and my grandma, my sweet, elderly grandma, who has the reflexes of a startled cat when it comes to food, reached out to catch it. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen a 92-year-old woman try to intercept a flying bowl of potatoes, but I can assure you it's something you never forget. She did not catch the bowl. Instead, the entire thing exploded onto her face and chest like a starchy, buttery bomb. Silence. Just absolute horror. And then my grandma, covered in hot mashed potatoes, just gasps like she's been shot. Derek is standing there, looking like he's about to pass out. My mom is frozen, hands over her mouth. Rachel looks like she's about to break up with him right then and there. Then my uncle, who has been waiting for a moment like this his whole life, just bursts out laughing, like doubled over wheezing laughter, and that broke the tension. Suddenly everyone is laughing except for Derek, who is still in shock, and my grandma, who, by the way, was fine but dramatically grasping her chest like she'd been wounded in battle. Finally, she wipes some mashed potatoes off her face, looks at Derek and goes, "Well, at least they're seasoned better than last year. I have never seen a man go so pale so fast." Rachel did in fact break up with Derek later that night. My grandma milked the mashed potato incident for sympathy points all weekend. And my uncle? Oh, he made sure to send Derek off with a to-go container of the very same mashed potatoes, just in case he wanted to try carrying them again. Thanksgiving at our house? Never boring.
The time I accidentally became a gym class legend. All right, so I need to preface this by saying that I am not athletic, like at all. I have the coordination of a baby deer on roller skates and the stamina of a grandma after a Thanksgiving dinner. But somehow, through sheer accident and dumb luck, I managed to achieve legendary status in my high school gym class. So this happened during my sophomore year. Gym class was the usual mix of tryhards, kids who just wanted to survive, and the ones who somehow always managed to forget their gym clothes. I respect the hustle. I was firmly in the just trying to survive category. One day, we were playing dodgeball, which, as you know, is the great equalizer of gym sports. It's the only game where the kid who spends his free time programming robots can take down the star quarterback with a well-timed throw to the kneecap. Now, I wasn't planning to make any waves. My usual dodgeball strategy was simple: stand in the back. Let the athletic kids take each other out. Get hit at some point and go sit down, ending my suffering early. But fate had other plans for me that day. The game starts, and right away, people are getting taken out left and right. I do my best to avoid everything, using the patented sidestep and pray method. Before I know it, my team has been decimated, and suddenly it's just me against 3 guys from the football team. This is not how it was supposed to go. The entire class is now watching. Even the kids who usually ignore gym are paying attention. I can feel the PE teacher nodding in silent approval, like this is my moment of glory. The football dude starts smirking, clearly thinking this will be an easy win. They start hurling dodgeballs at me, like they're trying to take down a castle wall. I somehow manage to dodge a few by what I can only describe as divine intervention. One ball literally brushes past my ear, and another bounces off my shoe without counting as an out. That's when something in me snaps. Maybe it was survival instinct. Maybe I just wanted to go down swinging. Whatever it was, I decided, if I'm going to lose, I'm going to make it look cool. So I grab the nearest dodgeball, plant my feet, and without thinking, I launch it. And somehow, it nails Trevor, the biggest dude on the football team, right in the stomach. This man was built like a refrigerator, yet I managed to send him stumbling back like I had just knocked the wind out of him. He drops his ball and falls to one knee. The entire gym erupts. People are on their feet. Someone literally throws their water bottle in the air. At this point, my adrenaline is pumping. I lock eyes with the next guy, Jake, and before he can react, I grab another ball and just whip it. Pure luck again, it hits him right in the leg. He stumbles, tries to recover, but it's too late. He's out. Now it's one-on-one. The last guy, Matt, is looking at me like I just grew 3 heads. He's actually being cautious now, which is hilarious because 30 seconds ago, I was basically gym class wallpaper. We circle each other. The class is dead silent. Even the PE teacher is leaning forward, clearly invested. Matt finally makes his move, throwing a fastball right at me. Instinct kicks in. I dive to the side like I'm in an action movie. The ball whizzes past me and by some cosmic twist of fate, lands back in my hands. I pop up and without thinking, I throw it as hard as I can. Boom, right in the chest. Matt stumbles back in shock. His ball drops. The gym explodes. People are cheering. Someone actually runs across the gym in celebration. Even the PE teacher gives me a slow clap. And just like that, a guy whose most intense physical activity was carrying groceries in one trip had just beaten 3 football players in dodgeball. For the rest of high school, I was known as the Dodgeball King. People who weren't even in my class heard about it. One of the seniors actually gave me a fist bump in the hallway the next day. Did I ever play that well again? Absolutely not. But legends aren't about consistency. They're about one perfect moment. And that, my friends, was mine.